Sophie Cunningham got elbowed in the face. She somehow was called for the foul. Let me get this straight. Sophie Cunningham can get elbowed in the face, yet she's the one
for Indiana to try to get a good look.
Listen up, because the WNBA just went completely off the rails tonight. What happened on that court wasn't just a bad call. It looked like a straight-up hit job, and it pushed Caitlin Clark to snap and go toe-to-toe with the referees on live TV. And it didn't end there. Dave Portnoy was watching from home, and the second he saw what the refs pulled on Clark's teammate, he lost it, dropping a truth bomb that ripped the lid off what's really been happening to the Indiana Fever. 4 weeks now, we've watched the hard fouls, the cheap shots, the constant disrespect toward this team. But tonight, the officials finally crossed a line nobody saw coming, tossing Sophie Cunningham, the toughest, most fearless defender on this Fever roster, out of the game for basically nothing. Stick around, because we're breaking down the ejection that stopped the game cold, the moment Clark physically stood up for her teammate against the refs, and Portnoy's explosive reaction that's already blowing up online. Here's the thing. To get why this blew up the way it did, you need to understand the tension building since tip-off. This wasn't basketball tonight. It was a brawl.
Take a look and see what Dave Portnoy had to say. Shall we? Like the video, hype the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below and subscribe to the channel. That would mean so much to me. Sophie just got 17 of her teeth knocked out, and they called her for the foul. He says, sick league. Let's take a look.
How about our WNBA refs? This is just a defensive foul. Thank you for the review. Just a defensive foul. No hostile act. Just a foul on Sophie Cunningham. They call that a foul on Sophie Cunningham. She's got 14 of her teeth on the ground. That's a defensive foul. And they reviewed it for a hostile act. Yeah, Sophie's saying, hey, I just got my jaw broke. Is this a political stance? You just took 14 of my teeth. Yeah, quiet, Sophie. No big deal. A defensive foul.
Right from the jump, Sophie was taking a beating. Illegal screens, sneaky elbows to the ribs when the refs weren't looking, non-stop trash talk in her face. But Sophie never complained once. She held her ground down low and made sure nobody was going to push her rookie star around. But you could feel it, buddy. The bias in every single whistle. Every time someone bumped into Sophie, that was a foul. Every time Sophie got hammered underneath the basket, somehow the refs went blind. It was like they were just waiting for one slip-up so they could make an example out of her. Then it happened. The ugliest moment of the whole season. Midway through a chaotic second half, the other team pushed a fast break. Sophie stepped up to play tough, clean defense. Exactly her job. A player came barreling into the paint out of control, initiated the contact, and ran straight into her. Textbook basketball play. Nothing more. But the referee didn't just call it. He sprinted across the floor like something crazy had happened, dramatically waved for a flagrant foul, then turned, pointed at Sophie Cunningham, and ejected her on the spot. The whole arena went silent. The Fever bench shot up out of their seats in shock. Sophie just stood there, head down, knowing exactly what had just happened to her. But Caitlin Clark saw it all, and Clark snapped. As Sophie started walking toward the tunnel, Clark took off across the court, grabbed her by the jersey, and stopped her cold, looked her dead in the eyes and said, "You're not going anywhere."
Podcast, one that I passed on, which I thought was going to happen, just went live. Sophie Cunningham, Wes Wilson.
She asked you to do it with her?
We spent a lot of time. They did a test podcast, these two, in our New York office. Then we had another host, and it wasn't so much her. Anytime I have to deal with agents, it's hard. I really thought we would be carrying so much of the weight, marketing, all this shit, and her focus wasn't going to be the podcast. It was just one amongst 9,000 things she was doing. And so it felt like we were getting screwed. So at the end, we were ready to sign it. And at the end, I'm like, I'm not interested anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
So now I like her, but
Suddenly, Clark spun around and charged straight at the referee. No fear, right up in his face, fighting for her teammate with everything she had. Word as she was yelling, "Are you kidding me? That's a basketball play. You let them hit us all game, and now you're kicking her out for playing defense. She planted herself between the ref and Sophie, like a human shield. Didn't matter if she got tossed herself. She was making her point loud and clear. The arena had lost it. And online, things were already exploding. The loudest voice in that storm was Dave Portnoy. The moment Portnoy watched Sophie get ejected, he grabbed his phone and torched the entire league on social media. He didn't stop at the referees, buddy. He went after the whole system. He said out loud what everyone else was too scared to say. Portnoy fired off to his millions of followers. This is straight-up corruption. They couldn't touch Caitlin Clark, so now they're targeting her protector instead. His message was clear. The refs keep inventing reasons to eject Sophie, so Clark stands alone out there, unprotected. Portnoy called it a calculated plan to tear the Fever apart from within. He named the commissioner, named the officials, and demanded a real investigation immediately.
I kind of get it. It's a natural Let's just say I'm not going to argue this. I've seen enough players trying to be fancy, kicking their feet out, making things look cool. Terrible timing. Okay, I can chalk it up to terrible timing. Fine. We'll chalk it up to terrible timing. But if we look before that, look at this. So Kelsey Mitchell. Does Kelsey Mitchell flop? There's a lot of things you can say about Kelsey Mitchell's game, right? She's selfish. She dribbles too much. Whatever. Does Kelsey Mitchell flop? Does Kelsey Mitchell ever exaggerate calls? Does Kelsey Mitchell ever embellish? You can accuse her of a lot of things, but those are not one of them. So Kelsey Mitchell is just going to act like she got hit in the face just to act like she got hit in the face, right? Kelsey Mitchell's going to act like she got hit in the face and quit on the play just to act like she got hit on the face and try to sell a call. Which Kelsey Mitchell doesn't do. And then we got this kicking the feet out. I mean, it just doesn't look good. Again, I'm not going to accuse this of being intentional because I don't feel like I have as much of a leg to stand on because I've seen this before. Unnecessary, yes. Intentional, I'm not going to make that argument. But this right here, slapping Kelsey Mitchell in the face, somebody like Kelsey Mitchell reacting like that, who never flops, who doesn't try to sell calls, who you knock down 20 times, she gets up 21 times. Yeah, I'm not going to put that on Kelsey Mitchell's jacket. And this Sophie Cunningham play of her getting...
Right now, the WNBA's whole system is shaking. Portnoy put a giant spotlight on the dirty tactics, and Clark just showed the entire world she'll go to war with the referees to protect her own teammate. The whole country watched a 22-year-old rookie and one of the biggest names in sports media rip apart the officiating bias for everyone to see. Clark sent a message loud and clear: the Fever are done being pushed around. And Portnoy made sure every single referee out there knows something now. Millions of eyes are watching. Touch Sophie Cunningham or Caitlin Clark again, and the internet is coming for you. Alright buddy, now I want to hear it from you. Drop your honest, no-filter thoughts down in the comments right now.
Dan Dockage doubled down on everything he said right here in this. He took the X. Yo, G, damn it, hold on. Steph White is calling. Gotta go to work, keep hating, keep stalking. So he's taking shots at the people that have been addressing him, adding on to the smear campaign that's going on against Caitlin Clark. It's ridiculous, but the fact of the matter is you can't blame Dan Dockage. You can't blame him. He's not lying about where he's getting the information from, which is why the Indiana Fever is so hush-hush and damn quiet about it. He's not lying. None of them are going to come out and call him a liar. None of them have stepped up to the plate to address the smear campaign that's being launched at Caitlin Clark. She's being targeted. They're not saying anything because it's coming from them. They've gone on to address everything else, whether it's people coming at them for the draft. Lynn Dunn went and called us all complainers. Stephanie White addressing the fans saying, hey, these games are boring as hell now. These games are boring. The product stinks now. You've come over here and ruined the product. The games are entertaining. She addressed that in last game's pregame podium. They've addressed everything. The Indiana Fever's Twitter handle or X handle put a post up after last game saying, "Are you not entertained?" They've been addressing everything publicly but this, because they are in on it. Make no mistake about that. Make no mistake about that at all. And then Stephanie White, shout out to Mick Talks Hoops. He said, shout out to Steph White for going on the same radio show, which essentially aired a Caitlin Clark hit piece last week. Stephanie White went on the same radio show, Query and Company, as she often does. And these are the people who essentially also played a large part in the Caitlin Clark hit piece last week.
When Caitlin Clark hit that shot the other night in Washington, I'm not going to say we shall be free that it was this like lifting in that regard, but she said afterwards that, and I'm paraphrasing, that it just kind of helped break through some of the noise. Is that a fair statement? Was there stuff swirling around that it was good to just break through that?
I mean, I think anytime you're able to come away with a win on the road, and especially in our league, it's always good. You know, we've had our moments where we haven't done as good a job as we're capable of in playing with a lead. You know, it was another one of those moments at times in that ball game. You know, but I always feel good about ourselves when we get to end of game situations. I think that our team does a great job of executing in those moments. You know, for C in particular, to be able to find herself that open. You know she's going to step up and knock it down, and it was a big time shot. It was a hell of a pass by.
Stop scrolling right now, because you need to see what just happened in the WNBA tonight. This wasn't just a bad call on the court. This was, without a doubt, one of the most controversial officiating disasters this league has ever seen, and it pushed Caitlin Clark to her breaking point, right in front of a stunned nation. Here's how it all went down. From the very first tip-off, this game felt less like basketball and more like a street fight. The opposing team came in with one goal: rattle the Indiana Fever with hard fouls, cheap shots, and constant physical punishment. And the player absorbing most of that punishment, Sophie Cunningham, the toughest, most fearless defender the Fever have. From minute one, Sophie was getting hit with illegal screens, sneaky elbows, and nonstop trash talk. She never complained. She just stood her ground and made sure nobody was going to push her rookie superstar around. But watch the whistles closely, and you'll see it. Every bump against Sophie got called. Every hit she took near the rim, somehow invisible to the refs. It was like they were building towards something. Then, midway through a chaotic second half, it happened. A player came barreling in out of control on a fast break and crashed straight into Sophie, who was simply playing clean, textbook defense. But instead of a normal call, the referee sprinted across the floor, dramatically signaled a flagrant foul, then pointed straight at Sophie and ejected her on the spot. The arena went completely silent. The Fever bench shot up in disbelief. Sophie dropped her head, clearly stunned by what had just happened. But Caitlin Clark saw everything, and Clark snapped. As Sophie started walking off, Clark sprinted across the court, grabbed her by the jersey, and stopped her cold. She looked her dead in the eyes and made it clear she wasn't going anywhere without a fight. Then Clark turned on the referee. No fear, right in his face, fighting for her teammate with everything she had. Witnesses say she was shouting that this was a normal basketball play, that the refs had let the other team hit them all night, and now they were ejecting Sophie for playing defense. Clark literally stood between the referee and her teammate, willing to risk her own ejection just to make a point. While the arena was in chaos, the internet was already exploding, and the loudest voice in the room belonged to Dave Portnoy. The second he saw Sophie get tossed, he went straight to social media and unloaded, accusing the league of deliberately targeting Sophie because they couldn't slow Clark down any other way. He called it a calculated attempt to strip Clark of her protection on the floor, and he demanded real accountability from the league office. Tonight, a 22-year-old rookie and one of the biggest names in sports media exposed something millions of fans have suspected for weeks. Clark sent a message the entire league heard loud and clear: the Fever are done being pushed around. And Portnoy made sure every referee knows the whole world is watching now. So here's what I want to know. Was this the worst ejection in WNBA history? Was Portnoy right? And how incredible was it watching Clark go to war for her teammate? Drop your honest thoughts in the comments right now. Smash that like button if you stand with Caitlin and Sophie. Share this video to expose these calls to the world. Hit subscribe for more breaking WNBA updates, and I'll see you in the next one.